Hey everybody, Riot Mortdog here, and it's still Saturday night, but this is the other game that I recorded that I felt like it was worth sharing. I don't know when this is going to be uploaded, so who knows when you'll see it. But again, this was another game that happened during my Saturday testing that I felt like was worth sharing, and I have some time before bed, so why not? Why not talk about it? And I feel like this is the kind of video that a lot of people would have been waiting for anyway, so, you know, if you've clicked on the thumbnail, you probably know. This is an Ixtal game. A lot of people probably want to know how Ixtal plays, and so Ixtal is our new take at a high-risk trait. And yeah, so we'll see how it goes. Overall, though, again, it's PBE. It's Saturday. Tomorrow's Sunday, where the team's going to get together and prepare our final patch before branch cut. The team's been cranking hard at bug fixes, and then it'll be branch cut, and then we're going to go AFK for Thanksgiving, and then come back and lock it all up. So, yeah. All right, as usual, we're just holding our pairs here. We've got some Jarvan, some Caitlyn, and yeah. Overall, though, what I've been doing on Saturday, I've been trying to spend my time testing things people haven't been having success with. Bilgewater, Piltover, Shadow Isles. Anytime I can find Viegos, I've been buying them like crazy just so I can get a Shadow Isles game in. And here, we got a lot of pairs right now. We got Jhin, Caitlyn, so. And again, trying to consider angles that people haven't been testing. So like here was a long shot. I was like, ooh, do I go multiple long shot? Try to make that work, which mostly a bait. Don't really try it. Considering long shot is mostly low cost units. It's something you play in the early game and then get out of in the late game. Once you hit like the Kai'Sa and then build a better front line around that. But yeah. All right, Tristana. I've been mostly trying to not play much Yordle just because I played a bunch the day before. Kind of already have a good feel for it. And okay, well, there you go. Ixtal Expeditionist. Now, by the way, when we were looking at Ixtal, what we noticed was because it was only a 1-2-3 being Kiana, Nico, and Milio, we were like, ooh, that means you can really only play this trait if you ever high rolled a Milio. All right, first option, by the way, here. I was trying not to test the last one. I've tested that a bunch. So we're going to go with buy XP. But anyway, sorry, to finish my story, we realized not enough people would get to play Ixtal, so we were like, ooh, what if we made an augment that allowed you to just play Ixtal? What would that look like? And so shout out to Kent. He made this like 2 days before PBE, dug through old icons because we couldn't make new icons, was able to find one that we had from set 9, and was like, oh, okay. So big shout out to Kent for making this augment so that way more people would have the chance to experience this trait. All right, so now about Ixtal. There's really two ways to play Ixtal. You can pick the Lost Streak trait, and, you know, like as you saw there was the one that said play for 17 rounds. But the neat thing about Ixtal is it's not always a Lost Streak trait. Oftentimes, you can preserve health. And so, like, the mission we took, for example, was spend buy 24 XP. And because of that, we don't have to lose. We can keep our health high and win. Even the other one there that you saw, which was the play 17 rounds, it didn't say lose, right? Now, to call it out, we fully expect, right? Like, honestly, it's already starting to happen a little, but I say give it about a week. Challenger players are going to be saying this trait's wildly OP. They're going to. And to be honest, in the hands of a player like a Dish Soap or something like that, it is. It's probably too strong. Now, that's not to say we have it perfect anyway, because, like, I know the buy XP missions are way too good. Cough, cough, look which one I took. But the reality is, for most players to be able to enjoy it, it has to be at least decent and not require, you know, the world champion's hands to be playable. So what'll happen is we'll launch it. It'll be strong, you know, probably for the first patch or two. And then if we need to, we'll nerf it as needed, as people have figured it out and figured out which missions are the best ones to take and which missions are bait and things like that. But right now, we really need to make sure that with the set launch, it's fun. You know, and so we need to make sure it's possible to get Brock and possible to get these big cash outs. So, all right, well, right now we're trying to save up enough gold that I can just quickly buy the 24 XP. So, because the sooner I do that, the sooner I can get my next mission. Now, Milio's a good character, by the way, definitely worth investing in. I've had at least one player in Lobby 2 complain to me that he's OP. I don't think he is. I think he's actually like, my hot take here is Milio is like the perfectly balanced 3 cost. So what that means to me is like any 3 cost that's stronger than him probably a little OP. And any 3-cost that's weaker than him probably needs buff. That's my hot take. Now, again, that's just my personal opinion. That's not the balance team's opinion or anything like that. So, all right, we buy the Ari so that we can put in 2 Arcanists next. The extra AP for your team is always nice, especially for Milio's damage. We go up against somebody who has Birthday Reunion and 2 2-star Aphelioses. Now, because they're Targon in the early game, always going to be strong. That's just the nature of threats, right? They don't scale, but they're always strong. So things like Aphelios and Zoe right now. I know Zoe is incredibly scary. So, hey, look, there's a Zoe in my shop, actually. All right. So, again, just trying to save up enough gold to buy the XP that we need. And right now, I'm mostly looking for either tank items. Right now, I'm thinking the Milio, so I can get a Milio 2. A Milio 2 would give us a lot of options of, like, preserving health. Because one of the challenges of Ixtal can be if you get stuck on all the 1-star units, you're just never... Oh, Milio got taken. All right. Now, that is one of the downsides of this augment, is you're going to lose carousel priority pretty quick. You get that 15 extra health. Now, that being said, 15 extra health is going to let you go longer, which is fun. But we're going to take a blue buff. Now, there's something weird. I mentioned this in the rundown, but the reason I grabbed the blue buff here is Invoker is a really good trait, but it's kind of an awkward trait. And by the way, you can see here, I'm going to spend and get the XP. So even though I just lost my econ, I completed my quest. So, and because I'm mostly probably going to lose anyway, we're just going to keep our econ high. All right. Anyway, Invoker, it's not mana regen. It's you generate more mana from sources that give you mana regen. So unlike, you know, the last set where you wanted, you know, AP items because they had plenty of mana regen, in this set, you actually want mana regen on your invokers so they benefit more. So stuff like blue buff, Shojin, Nashers is really, really good on invokers so they can just go wild. Now, one of the other terrors of PBE has been this Briar. Briar, I think, you know, we tried to nerf her a little bit, but it just wasn't enough. Briar just gets on your backline so quickly. So we end up losing, but there you go. We get our first Ixtal Sun Shards collected. We're at 90. All right, what are our options here? Okay, see, now this is one that's probably going to get nerfed, so I'm going to kind of abuse it a little bit here, but buy 48 XP for 200. This one's really, really good, right? Because you need to level anyway, and 200 is a lot, and technically it could be completed on like 1 turn. If we drop a bunch of gold, we can just spend it and be done and already moving on to the next one. So, yeah, buy the 2 Ixtal games I've had that went really out of control were because of buy XP. So probably going to expect that one to get nerfed. But the other options weren't that bad either, and we could have made them work. And for what it's worth, this is the only like really egregious one I get. So, also the other thing worth noting is there are certain missions that like if you, so the missions are stage bound, right? So like that mission can only appear on stage 2. If that had been my 2-1 mission, saving up to 48 XP would have been a long time. But because it was my 2-6 mission, it's like, oh, actually, I've kind of got some gold going and can make it work, right? And so there's actually even some work we might have to do where it's like stuff that can appear on 2-1 versus 2-6 might have to change a little bit. Because again, we did it by stage to start with, but that's one of the fun things about designing systems like that is it's like finding all the ins and outs of your system, how it breaks, how to make it better, stuff like that. So overall, we're at 97 health, though, so we at least were able to preserve some health on a lost streak, getting a little bit of extra gold. And again, if we can get something like a tier, get a blue buff or something. And we get a Reforger. We really need some gold here. If we don't get much gold, our econ's going to be shot. Oof. Oof, our econ's kind of shot. And these items are not great. I might consider reforging. All right, so we're going to reforge the armor. What do we get? A sword. Okay, so at least Shojin. And again, Shojin's one of those items that an invoker can use really well. And we can just do that. That'll work. Now, that being said, I'm talking about invoker like I have it in. Should probably, you know, get invoker in, Mort. Now, there's a visual bug with Ixtal this weekend. It should already be fixed by the time you see this video, where, like, the text of the mission would change. So like now it says buy 80 XP. It's still 48. It was just a visual text bug. So should already be fixed. So we're still trying to buy 48 XP. As soon as we have 48 gold, we can just level up, spend that, and complete that mission. But again, we are killing our econ to do it. So even though it is too strong, which it is, it's not like it's like wildly, you know, abuse power. It's just like it has drawbacks. So. All right, so again, something econ related would be really good here. All right, what are we gonna get here? Waiting for someone to finish their combat. Cool. And we get, all right, Prismatic's actually kind of bad for us. Jeweled Lotus. Prismatic Destiny would at least give us some gold, but ooh, actually, Tiniest Titan will give us 15 gold now and let us go even longer. If we want to push for a big cash out, I kind of like that idea. All right, so we put an Invoker. And I think we're, yeah, we need, remember, we have to buy 48 XP. And we're at 44, so we're 4 gold short, unfortunately. I'd have to sell a lot of things to hit this. To be honest, it was probably correct to try to hit this, but looks like I'm going to wait a turn. And the nice thing is we're going to be getting 2 health back a turn, so it'll buy us some time. But that being said, that means our 2 augments right now, Prismatic and Gold, are both 0 combat, 0 items. We expect to be weak, right? So we're in a position right now where we are not strong. And the other thing I'm doing is that I'm building Milio items, which is fine and helps preserve health now. But oftentimes if you're playing this round, what you really want to be ready for is Brock items. You want your Brock items good to go so that when you hit that Brock, you can get him online and you can like turn that on, right? So, by the way, we go up against a player who had Warpath with 0 points, so they're struggling a little bit. It is what it is. All right. Okay, 2 gold. And again, now we have the 48, so we should just spend 48. Come on. There we go. Good job, Mort. You can do it. All right, so that's 32, 36, 40, 42, and 48. Okay. And again, text bug aside, we know this will complete the mission, so that'll give us our 200 sun shards. Sweet. Good times. And again, expecting to lose a lot of fights. That's an Aphelios 3 with some pretty bad items, but it's still an Aphelios 3. They also have Celestial Blessing 3. Kent was so happy to get Celestial Blessing back in the game, and Celestial Blessing 3, we kept going like, ooh, it's not really strong enough. Like, why would you ever take this? But now it has this 1,000 health shield that you can max out to, so who knows? It might even be OP now. But cool to see that back, and we only lose by 3, so not too bad a loss here. We're going to sell the Jarvan just to get our econ back up. Jarvan's the kind of champion, by the way, you really want to keep a 2-star handy, just so you can sell him in case you want to consider the Silas line. It's always something you consider. So selling the Jarvan there, not ideal, but it is what it is. All right, if we can get the Taric, that would give us a jeweled gauntlet for the Milio. And yeah, unfortunately, this is not one of those games where you have a lot of Nikos early and you can play around Nidalee. Nidalee right now definitely being one of the champions that people are struggling. Oh, we missed the glove. Take the tier. Ugh. Not ideal, but at least we could go like Hodge on Brock if we need to. 1, 2, go. All right, we have reroll the shop 6 times. We could do that real quick. Alternate winning and losing is a lot of points, but it's really risky, and if we screw it up, and I can't really guarantee the wins. And then the Ixtal champion, 125 armor. I don't have any more armor to put on Nico, so I'm just going to take the reroll, and I'm just going to do it now. It's a 1-turn mission. Gets it out of the way. It's going to screw up my econ even more, but again, it gets it out of the way. It's also going to strengthen me a little bit more. So we're going to do our rerolls. Those are all done. We find a Swain at least. Swain's going to be better. And so we've done our 6 rerolls. That's going to complete the mission. And so a lot of these low point missions, by the way, are designed to be done in one turn efficiently. So try not to take them unless you know you can do them in one turn. Otherwise, they're just not worth it. And even then, you know, if you're only getting 40 a turn, it'll take you forever to hit 500. But again, one of the nice things is you can take these and still win, right? I don't have to loss streak with this. So that's why they end up being a little underpointed. So still plus 40 is what it is. All we had to do was completely screw over our econ. All right, earn 14 interest, have less than 30 player health. Unfortunately, the less than 30 player health isn't realistic. The Kiana scores 3 takedowns, also not realistic. So we're going to have to do this. It's going to be a little slow. It's going to stink, unfortunately. And I'm even, like, I need the Milio, but I also need my econ back up. So I'm almost going to have to lock shot for this. I've got this random Jhin in my comp for no freaking reason. So definitely an awkward position, but we can get away with it because we have 83 health. So, and let's be real, it's PBE, right? It's not going to be the world's strongest lobby. So I am getting away, you know, with a little bit more than I probably would. Now, that being said, we're going up against a Wukong. Wukong is always really good early, because even if I get through this Radiant Sterix, well, guess what? There's going to be another Wukong with another Radiant Sterix that you have to then proc again. You know, so. And by the time I get through that, I'm dead. So, it is what it is. But I really just, I need some econ. So I lock the shop, try to stay above 11. Well, and again, remember, our goal now is get interest. So it's going to take us a bit to build this back up. But we've got to get it. We're hoping for a lot of gold to drop here. We're also hoping for Milio 2. But yeah, we've only earned 1 of our 14 interests so far. So, not the best mission, but... Which is really funny, because now we're in a position where we want our 3rd augment to be a bunch of gold also, but then we're going to have 0 combat augments. Oof. Alright, well, at least we get a little gold to go up to 20. 26, unfortunately not enough to do anything with. Alright, we do get a blue buff. The Jarvan 2 is nice. That's always good later if we want to consider a Sylas. Always hitting a Jarvan 2, if you're even going to pretend to consider a Sylas, is good. So, again, because we have Invoker, blue buff Shojin is quite good here. We can't roll, though, because we need to get our econ up. Just going to slap a Thieves' Gloves here. Not ideal, but again, goal right now is just preserve as much health as we can. Get our interest building. Get that 14 interest. We go up against a GP2 with Trifecta. Would expect to lose this. Yep, first GP bomb. Almost one-shots the Milio. Can we at least kill the Ambessa? Oh, we killed the Ambessa at least. And yep. And not bad. 4-unit loss. Almost 3 if we could have killed that TF, but not quite. All right, 65 health. Interest slowly accruing. I can say accruing. We're not taking Golden Egg. Bronze for Life, not really the spot. Money Monsoon would be our econ problems, but we'd be really, really weak. Oh, we have more rerolls. Okay, Sweet Treats at least gives us some item and health and some power. And I am going to need some power. Hold the Line doesn't really make sense. I could have taken Giant and Mighty, but this should maybe give me something for Brock later. We get Light Shield Crest. Eternal Pact is also really good on Invokers, but then it'd be kind of over-investing in Milio. Whereas this is going to give me some better frontline, so going to take this. And the nice thing is, Sweet Treats, this is from Titles Win, I believe. This is going to give us a bunch of health for our team as well, which is always nice. So an artifact and some health. And then hopefully our Ixtal cashout gives us more items, which will make Sweet Treats even better. So that's why I went with that one. Giant and Mighty probably would have been okay as well. But I'm kind of banking on the fact that I'm going to get more. So you can see it's only 175 health right now. But again, I'm banking on the fact that I'm going to get more items later and it's going to scale better. And I've got enough health that I'm feeling pretty confident about getting up to Brock. So. Okay. All right, you can see there, haven't quite finished it. I think we need 1 or 2 more rounds. But at least we're getting our econ back up. And sure enough, it's not like any of these boards we should be winning, right? Like balance-wise, this all looks correct. We haven't hit our 2-star Milio, which kind of hurts us. In this position, by the way, I should have bought the Zoe and put it in over the Milio. That would have given us Shred. And, you know, a Zoe 1 is going to be better than a Milio 1. So, with no items, that's the way threats work. And I'm calling these out, by the way, because this is just helping that, like, you know, when I was playing at the time, I wasn't playing perfectly. But, you know, I think the pros call this, what, VOD reviewing? Is that what it's called? But, yeah. All right. Next fight, in what world do I ever kill the Sejuani? That's not happening. Maybe I'll get lucky and kill, like, the Tryndamere? Hey, we killed the Tryndamere and the Vi, right? Kill the Vi? Yay. Ooh, and the... Ooh, okay, we killed a little bit. That could have gone a lot worse. That could have gone a lot worse. All right, so there we go. We finished our interest. We're at 420. We need just a little bit more. And now we can actually spend our gold again. Thank God. Thank God. All right, now item-wise, again, really what I should have been doing is building up some items. Now, Annie, by the way, actually gives us a really interesting out here. Because Annie gives us the rod that we kind of wanted for Spark anyway. And again, we're talking about flex. Like, I'm in Ixtal, but Annie gives us an option. We have good mana generation items, and Annie is good with that. We also have a Swain in right now. That's also going to give us Tibbers. So, like, all of a sudden, we have an Arcanist line available to us. So, and again, this is what I've at least envisioned for this set, and what I really hope is true, is that you can make reactions like this and adjust your board based on what you see. All right, alternate winning and losing is way too risky. Ixtal champion hitting 150, we can do that one easy. So let's just do that real quick. That's just going to happen next turn. We're going to go ahead and level up. Try to, again, preserve health is the name of the game. Now, because I have the 2-star Jarvan, we could, like I said, we can consider a Silas angle here. We're going to roll down. We find 2 Luxes. All right, going to stop at 11 gold. We've got 4 Arcanists in. Because it's not like we're deep in Invoker right now. Okay. And the nice thing about Ixtal, by the way, is you don't really need to go 5, and 7's only possible with an emblem anyway. So, again, this is the Aphelios 3 board. We're just trying to kill what we can. Maybe at least kill the Taric, please. Okay, kill the Taric. Kill the Scion. Nope. Okay. Ouch. That one hurt. All right, well, we cashed that out, though, because we really have the armor and MR. So really, we just need 40 more. But the higher we can get, the better. But we're getting really low. 36 health. Like, I love to try... So, the way it works, by the way... Okay, reroll the shop 8 times doesn't give us enough. End 3 rounds with 0. We can do that. 3 rounds. That'll also be a PvE round. So, that's pretty good. Okay, right there, by the way, we can hit the Silas. So we're going to go boom, boom, boom. Unlock Silas. Get him in. There we go. Okay, sweet. Now we're at 6 Arcanist, 2 Defender. I should have moved the Thieves Gloves over to Silas, but there we go. Boom. That was a good transition, if I do say so myself. Now, we need to move the items off of Milio onto Annie. But, okay. What I was trying to say about Ixtal, by the way, is the way it works is the cash out for 500 exactly. It's okay. It's like 36 gold or something. Because at 500, we're really expecting you to kind of hit the Brock. 550 and up is where it starts to really scale. So, if, you know, 500 gives you the Brock, but if you can push to 600, 700, 800, that's where you're going to get the big, big, big rewards. And by the way, there's that Milio damage I was talking about with 2 Invoker. So, Milio doing a lot of work here. And don't forget, 6 Arcanist is a team-wide buff as well. So, it's not like Milio wasn't benefiting from that 40 AP a little bit. So, overall solid here. Now, again, I need to go down to 0 gold. So, go down to 0 gold. We're going to move the Thieves Gloves over to the Silas. And Silas is a beast. Now, he's kind of intended to be a beast because he's hard to itemize. Now, we don't actually want a Ginsu's on Annie. Ginsu's takes too long. We'd really just like a 3rd mana generation item. Something like a Nashor's. Hell, even another blue buff. Oh, hey, look, a Nashor's. Also a Warmog's, though. Oh, red buff wouldn't be terrible. And yes, I know you're thinking red buff. That can't be good. All right, so now we can move the items onto Swain here. That's going to be a better combo. Come on. All right, so there's a solid Swain. Ionic Spark over there. We're going to check our items here. All right, and so Annie, with triple mana generation, will get Annie to that cast quicker. And that's kind of how Annie works, right? You want to get her to that cast so that the burn can happen quicker. We go down to 0 gold, so that should be our proc to 550 here. Now, again, we're still pretty weak. Our carries are Annie 1, Silas 1. You know, and Silas is a Thieves' Gloves. It's not like it's optimal items. But there's the Annie burn at least, so we should be able to get some backline damage. But, yeah, the other side's just too strong. We're down to 16 health, but we did hit 550. So we're going to get Brock. And, unfortunately, unless the mission's really easy and worth another 75... we're going to have to stop, right? We're going to have to get our rewards. And we look at the missions, and it's only 40 and 50 and 500. The 500 is way too risky. That's for, like, silly YouTuber chasing. So we're going to cash out here. We get a Radiant. The nice thing is we did get a Radiant Thieves' Gloves. So we can just slap that on. And we got a Tactician's Crown. So not a bad cash out overall. And so we're going to get 2 Invoker in. That's going to allow us... remember, Invoker is a team buff, so that's going to give Annie even more mana regen. So, all right. And so now we have Brock with a Radiant Thieves' Gloves, and Annie, and Silas. We should be pretty stable. Brock does a lot of AoE damage. So the nice thing here, the combo, by the way, is Brock and Annie. Because Brock and Annie... and look at their backline already. Like, that list is dead. You know, so there's just a lot of damage. Look at that Brock damage. And so... and again... would it surprise me if Brock 1 needed a slight nerf? No, it wouldn't. But we wanted to make sure that people playing Ixtal, you know, actually get to enjoy playing Ixtal. So, all right. Now, we're going to look at our missions here. And there's one that says win 7 player combats, reward 1,000. You know what? Why not, right? Let's take the risk. Let's take the risk. It's not like we really need the other rewards here. So, let's put this in. Let's see what we can do here. By the way, we're using Tibbers to get us to 6 Arcanists. So, I don't know. Overall, we're looking solid. We hit the Lux 2, by the way, again. Lux is going to be better than Ari. Let's try to get to 9. If we get to 9, we can throw in something like Shyvana. All right, up against a Bilgewater comp, but the GP's only got 2 items. MF's items don't look that great. I say that, and like, I'm getting my butt kicked, but here comes the burn from Annie. And Swain stayed alive long enough. All right, good job, Annie. Whew. That was a little closer than I'd like it to be, but at least we won. Also, don't forget more items equipped for our Sweet Treats. So Sweet Treats is also giving us a bunch of extra health. There is an Arcanist emblem. The weird thing is we don't really need it. But, you know me. When am I ever going to pass up a time to play 7 Arcanists? We can make Lysandra or Milio. Or maybe later a Zillion. You never know. Now, do we really need to keep 3 Ixtal in? No. But is it fun to maybe go for this 1,000 cash out? Sure. And just so we're clear, 1,000 is the, like, game-winning cash out. If you ever get to 1,000, it's game-winning. So, that is the mark. 500 is the, like, pretty solid, get your Brock. 1,000 is where it goes nuts. So, we're going to go ahead and level here. And by the way, I hit a Taric, so I'm just going to throw in the Taric. Remember, Taric gives your team a mana regen or mana resist aura. So just by putting Taric in the comp, team has 10 more MR. Pretty solid. And again, that's the hope for these like late game champions is you can flex them in, get that extra power. Feels good. Now we go up against a Aphelios, but it also has Aurelion Sol and Diana. So at least the Taric aura will protect against them. Oh, big Brock ult. And so yeah, Annie's casting in 9 seconds, by the way, with 3 mana items. So 6 Arcanist Annie, 9 seconds. Really good Annie items. I think these are like probably Biss. Although you probably actually, instead of Nashers, it's probably just double Shojin. Or actually, no, Adaptive Helm. Probably Adaptive Helm. We do hit a Zillion here. We can do Zillion for Lysandra. Oh, we hit the 2-star Annie. That's big. We are going to have to lock shot for the Silas. I could have just not played the Zillion, but, you know. All right, we're looking pretty strong. 2-star Annie's big. But yeah, it's probably blue buff, Shojin, adaptive. That's probably Biss. And now that we have 2-star Tibbers, definitely worth putting items on. Tibbers is quite tanky. And so yeah, we went from Ixtal to Arcanist because we had Swain and reacted to that Annie. So this was pretty cool. Now, again, even optimally, is it supposed to be 6 Arcanist? Well, because I have an emblem, it's probably definitely 6 Arcanist. So. And 6 Arcanist is interesting because Annie just gives you 2 Arcanists for free. But like, could I cut Lux? Yeah, I could probably go down to 4. Right? Like cut Lux, cut Nico, who are generally itemless. You'd have to cut Lux, Nico. No, actually, I don't think it is. Because of the emblem, I think it's stay. Like, I could cut Lux right now for an aura, for something like Shyvana. That's definitely possible. Shyvana would be a big win. But other than that, like, yeah, this seems pretty solid. Skarner would also be another thing I could just throw in for the aura. Fiddlesticks. I always like Fiddlesticks. Fiddlesticks for that minus 10 armor and MR aura feels good. Boom, boom, boom. Well, we'll see if we hit any of them. Big thing right now, though, would be if we can get Silas 2, Brock 2. Brock 2 is going to be a big upgrade. Missed a gold there. All right, items-wise, third tank item for Tibbers, really? We don't really need Morellos because we have the burn from Annie. See, we could consider Lucian Senna. There's the Shyvana. We passed the Shyvana. See, I still think Shyvana over Lux would have been okay, but... Hey, take it to the bridge. Alright. Brock and Silas doing their thing. And by the way, remember, we're supposed to be at 7 wins for that 1,000. We are winning all of our fights. So, you never know. Maybe we do hit that. That would be nice. We're also restoring 2 health a turn still. Cool. But yeah, you can see Annie doing a lot of damage. We unlocked Skarner and Volibear. Volibear always gets accidentally unlocked once you have a super tank going. And he doesn't really have an aura, so he's not really a flexible champion. That being said, Skarner is, though. Skarner's going to give your team that 10 armor and MR. And now that Tarek is 2-star, it's 40 armor and MR. I kind of messed up here. I still think taking out the Lux would have been the better play, not the Nico. Nico would have kept 2 Defender in. So I feel like I messed this up a bit, but it doesn't matter too much. It's not like Lux is doing 0 damage, but the 2 Defender would have been even better. It's close. I mean, if I ever get items for... No, I'm never going to get items for Lux, so I do think it was that. But, all right, up against a 2-star Aurelion Soul. They are level 10, but they only have 300 stacks, so I feel like we should be able to beat them. Diana on the back line, but Annie already got the cast off. And again, it feels like we already... Like, the Turbo Biss Annie really kind of helping us here. And... Wasn't a dominating win, but they are dead. And yeah, Annie top damage. Good job, Annie. Should have bought the Skarner. Oh, I didn't buy the Skarner, but Silas and Brock. Nice. All right, 2-star Silas is big. Now, if I'm not misplaying here, I should probably switch the Thieves Gloves because 2-star Silas is better than 1-star Brock, for sure, especially with 6 Arcanists. But it's what it is. Will that cost us? How many wins are we at now, by the way? 5? So I think we're at 5 wins. So we're like, oh, we need 2 more wins. We need them both to like live long enough, unfortunately. Oh, this set looks really scary. Holy. Seeker's Arm Guard has been a terror on PBE on people like Fiddle, Singed, and Set. This set has me quite nervous. Boom. That's some chunky damage. Although we were able to kill him quick enough, so not bad that fight. There's that Silas damage. Okay, so how many wins are we at? It's got to be... Oh, unfortunately, the other person dies. And because of that, we're at 6 wins. We'll never get our 7th win. No! Ah, well. We took a risk. It didn't pay off. Could put Gunblade on like Zillion if we ever 2-star Zillion. Could put it on Lux. I think right now I'm answering a work thing and rolling. Any Zillions? Any Zillions? No! Nope. Okay. Well, we can put the Gunblade on the Lux then. Fine. Okay. And yeah, you can see 6, 7. Couldn't quite hit 7, but it would have been fun. So. Alright, again, that Seeker set. Now, last time we were able to beat it and kill it pretty quick, but this time, unfortunately, I think it's going to grab this Silas right away, and when it grabs the Tibbers and hits the back line, and now it starts building up its Seeker stacks, and now it gets out of control. Oh my god. And Set just deletes my back line. Uh-oh. That's not good. Now I'm starting to get nervous. Well, like I said, now's where we actually have to, like, make a couple better decisions and actually position so that Set just doesn't delete my front line. Yeah, their Ornn's also getting stronger, so we're trying to reposition here. Gonna roll down. We at least find the Zillion here, so we can make Arcanist Zillion. That's gonna be a little bit better. And then gonna switch these around. Like I said, put the Radiant on the Silas. He's the stronger champion right now at 2-star. We had to sell the other Brock. And here we go. Alright, but anyway, like I said, regardless of what happens, this was Ixtal. This was Arcanist. Silas. Good stuff. Hope you enjoyed. And again, hope you guys are really enjoying the set. I really do. Alright. Set is doing his sit-ups. He's back. He hasn't got a Seeker's Arm God proc yet. Oh, he just did. That's scary. But Zillion Bomb, and there you go. It's a first. All right, there you go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. That's going to do it for me. Until next time, take it easy.